This is not just great to have an all-female panel, but we all happen to be lesbians. And these two have started going out in the ensuing year, so we're like an episode of the L Word here.
When the hell are people going to pick their heads up and say, these people do not represent me? These people who have shut down the government, this type of rhetoric that comes out. I mean, when are people going to storm the parapet? When are people going to come for it? When are people going to reclaim their democracy and say, I am not accepting this?
America sort of started as an idea. And this idea has been at risk all year. This was a country that started with dreamers. And we are now, I think, have started to see the rise again of dreamers. And in fact, it is the young immigrant dreamers that are holding up the deal with the government now.
Talk a little bit about how it looks from the outside and how Europeans are looking at this.
The basic debate is starting now whether Donald Trump will change our political culture and the whole balance in the world.
European leaders have been fairly pussyfooted around Donald Trump. I mean, and some of you might remember what a bully he was in the Republican primary and what a bully he was to Hillary Clinton. He has this way of belittling people who disagree with him or who make him feel less adequate. And it's effective because it shuts them up.
The world is grappling with the recidivism of American leadership. The world is grappling with what it looks like to have a country that no longer has a clear point of view, either on global diplomacy, either on its own self-determination, either on domestic policies. The world is grappling with that, and I think you do see that. I don't think it's because he's bullied them. I think because they are looking back and saying, what the hell is this?
I called my son, who's 12, and I said, what do you think of the book? Because he's very politically aware. And I said, what about this? What about this? And he goes, Mom, you're being totally distracted. He just appointed this many judges, this many things. You need to stop focusing on the inner politics of the White House. And I was like, yeah, I know, but look at Steve Bannon. He called him Sloppy Steve. And I realized that I had been sucked into the discussion.
You can try as a journalist, and I'm only speaking as a journalist, to try and really make a difference, to make influence, and all it does is just throwing it out there into the ether. It's so hard to get traction. Do you know how frustrating that is when you're delivering that, putting those resources in to tell the stories on the ground? Because we live still in a society that is TV-centric, where people have shifted to mobile, where the attention span has compressed. And I think the only thing we can do is to keep fighting the good fight.
The reason why, for instance, local media is so scarce in multiple jurisdictions across the United States. The reason why there is so little reach for local news, for actually broadcast news in many respects, and even cable has such limited distribution, is really because Google and Facebook have sucked up all of the advertising dollars in the country. Now, whether they did it cleverly or illegally or legally or not, it's irrelevant. It's just, it means that it's done.
In Germany, we have a new law that's supposed to protect people from insults and harassment, sexual harassment, whatever. And you, in the first weeks, you see how difficult it is. So that a lot of things get erased, which definitely should not be erased. And it's like you're touching the question of censorship very, very easily. And I don't think that this is the way how you could deal with it.
Stop normalizing and think meta. And that's what I always think about every day, is like, people say to me, the judges and tax reform and these things have gotten done, and there's 12 federal appeal court justices and there were only 3 during Obama's first term. And they got this comprehensive tax reform through, and it looks like the wall's gonna be funded. At what price? At what price? The total destabilization of foreign policy, the total unpredictability, the people waking up at 4 in the morning and sitting over their screens to type in a tweet that literally could be, something, there's Kim Jong-un is the worst person, he's such a baddie. I mean, what in hell? What in God's name?